Chapter 179. Clouds gathering at the demon Lockin tower. According to reason, it was impossible for this heavenly star child to still be alive. But where did Li Chongjiao's star-absorbing technique originate from? Aside from the Dan Emperor and the heavenly star child, who else in this world possessed the star-absorbing grand technique? Kang Chon pondered as he recovered from his injuries. Possessing the star-absorbing technique, Li Chongjiao undoubtedly like a tiger with wings. And this guy doesn't care about going off the deep end, completely using the star-absorbing technique to devour his cultivation. Right now he has a strong will and deliberately restrains himself. But when his cultivation gets stronger and stronger, he will become more and more brutal and murderous. And in the end, it will be a devil who only kills and devours cultivation. Although Kang Chon does not have the righteous heart to guard the continent, but Li Chongjiao is, after all, his enemy. In the future, they will inevitably meet again. He had to be careful. Whatever. Even if he has the star-absorbing technique, what am I afraid of? For now, I'll stay here and recover from my injuries. There are 3 years anyway. I don't have to rush to the demon Lockin tower. Kang Chon thought in his heart. Although the star-absorbing grand technique was powerful, he knew it just as well, so he didn't have much fear in his heart. As for whether or not Li Chongjiao would become a demon in the future, that was even less of his business, anyway. When the sky fell, there were still stronger people to hold it up. He was only a Jidan stage cultivator who had only just stepped into the cultivation realm. So he didn't need to worry about any bullshit cultivation realm at all. After thinking it through, Kang Chon recovered his injuries while continuing to cultivate. In the Yuanying stage space everywhere in the volcano, Kang Chon is located in this one volcano is not at all conspicuous. Usually very few people will find, and now from the beginning of the Heavenly Dao Demon Ceiling ranking 1 year time has not arrived. The entire Yuanying stage space, there are not many people, most of them are distributed in all parts of the world. Naturally, no one has discovered Kang Chon's whereabouts. As for some Yuanying stage demonic beasts, there was even less to worry about, although there were many Yuanying stage demonic beasts in the Yuanying stage space. They generally had their own territories and wouldn't change their place of residence at will. All of this had been recorded in the piece of jade slips Lin Feng had given Kang Chon. Therefore, Kang Chon cultivated here with great peace of mind, and in the blink of an eye a month had passed. On this day, a tall silhouette appeared at the top of the heaven ascending staircase. And after this person had ascended to the peak, he gently let out a breath, and then gasped for air. Damn, this last 1,000 levels of intentional pressure is really hard to bear. I really don't know how that pervert Kang Chon managed to carry it over so quickly. It's really a case of people getting more angry than people. This person who had suddenly appeared was Lei Yun, who had climbed to the peak of the heaven ascending stairs, and passed the test only a month after Kang Chon had left the heaven ascending stairs. And at this moment, Jin San Chao and the others were not far from the peak. I wonder where 3 Fatty and the others have arrived. Lei Yun couldn't help but look down the heaven ascending staircase. Immediately, he saw the figure of Jin San Chao and the others. Although Jin San Chao and the others were a bit behind him, they weren't by much. So after he ascended to the pinnacle, Jin San Chao and the others weren't too far from the pinnacle as well. Not bad. With their speed, they will be able to reach the summit in half a month to a month, so I will wait here for them to join me. Lei Yun then sat down on the ground. He knew that the Yuanying stage space was very dangerous. It was better to travel with Jin San Chao and the others after all. Let's cultivate here during this period of time, or else we'll be left further and further behind by that pervert Kang Chon. Lei Yun glanced at those handwriting left on the ground by Kang Chon, and then closed his eyes. Being born with a thunder body, Lei Yun's talent was very impressive. This period of time at the heaven ascending staircase's test was not without rewards for him. His intention had already broken through to the 20% realm without him even realizing it, and his cultivation had also risen quite a bit. For the cultivation world, a month's time changed in the blink of an eye, and within this month, Jin San Xiao and the others passed the test one after another and ascended to the peak. Of course, many other young jungles also ascended to the pinnacle. Some of them directly entered the ushering stage space. Some applied to withdraw, and some, like Lei Yun, waited for some companions. After another half a month, Wuxia also ascended to the peak and met up with Lei Yun and the others. And only then did all of them head to the ushering space together. And at this moment, in a sizzling volcanic terrain, Kang Chon opened his eyes, and two purple lights flashed through his eyes. Nearly 3 months of time had passed. The injuries from that battle at the beginning had been completely recovered, and his cultivation had also slightly improved. Kang Chon felt that he was not far from the 9th level of the Jiden stage. All the injuries to my physical body have been recovered, and my true essence is even thicker than before. Now that I've met Li Chunjiao, at least be able to gain the upper hand. Kang Chon's eyes were filled with confidence. The strongest card of Li Chunjiao's strength was undoubtedly the star-absorbing technique, but it was useless to him, so he completely restrained Li Chunjiao. Kid, don't be careless. That guy used the star-absorbing grand technique indiscriminately. I'm afraid that his cultivation has broken through the ushering stage by now. You should know that there are a lot of ushering stage demonic beasts in this ushering stage space. If he uses the star-absorbing grand technique to suck up these demonic beasts, his cultivation will definitely be 1,000 miles a day. Emperor Dan reminded in his mind. Kang Chon's heart immediately tightened. This was what he was most afraid of. Once he used the star-absorbing grand technique recklessly, then his cultivation would increase absolutely fast. This he had the most experience with. Take Kang Chon right now. If he was willing to use the star-absorbing grand technique to devour those demonic beasts in pills, in at most 3 days, he would be able to break through to the 9th level of the Jiden stage. But don't worry, you brat. If I'm not wrong, once one of you breaks through the ushering stage, I'm afraid that you'll immediately be taken out by that guardian elder. After all, this is a place where outer disciples are tested, and the strength of the ushering stage is completely enough to become an inner disciple of the Heavenly Tao sect, Emperor Dan said with a smile. Kang Chon was relieved when he heard this. Since that's the case, I'll continue to cultivate here, and then head to the Demon Locking Tower when I've broken through to the 9th level of the Jiden stage. There was a flash of light in Kang Chon's eyes. Then he slowly closed his eyes. The scorching magma around him was still surging, but it was unable to invade the 5 meters around Kang Chon's body, being blocked out by a powerful force. Another month passed. Wow! On top of a scorching hot magma, a golden figure stood proudly, his stern gaze looking towards a dark golden double-winged demonic beast. On the opposite side, without the slightest bit of fear in his expression, ushering stage demonic beast, HMPH. The golden figure transformed into a ray of light and instantly fought with this demonic beast. The strength of both sides was incomparably powerful. The aftermath of the battle destroyed dozens of volcanoes in the surroundings, and the terrifying energy swept more than just a few. The battle lasted for 3 days and 3 nights. In the end, the golden figure shattered the head of this demonic beast with a single punch and took out a golden inner elixir. So it turns out that special bloodlines can only exert their strongest power under a special form. This is the strongest form of my battle body. The golden light slowly disappeared, revealing the figure of a tall youth. If Kang Chon was here, he would be able to recognize that this person was none other than Zhao Wuji. Zhao Wuji put away the ushering stage demonic beast in a Dan, and his indifferent gaze looked towards a black shadow in the distant sky, which resembled a tower and was about 1,000 miles away from his place. But with his speed, he would be able to reach it within a few days. Is that the Demon Locking Tower? Oh, I wonder how many people have arrived. Zhao Wuji softly murmured. Then a bright golden light erupted from his eyes, and his entire body transformed into a golden figure, heading in the direction of the demon locking tower ********. Demon locking tower. I'm coming. Thousands of miles away from the demon locking tower, an emperor-like figure slowly appeared, and at his feet, 3 Yuanying stage demonic beasts lay. This person was covered in blood red, dressed similarly to Yan Yun, who was killed by Kang Qian. But the strength of his aura was no less than Zhao Wuji's, and even vaguely more so. Wu Shuang is here. The blood-clothed youth turned into a ray of light and disappeared into the sky. With the loss of time, there were more and more young geniuses traveling to the demon locking tower, especially the top 20 strongest people on the potential dragon ranking, who had first entered the Yuanying stage space, and half of them were very close to the demon locking tower. And at this moment, at the heaven ascending staircase in the Jidan stage space, a golden figure stood proudly in the void, its powerful aura causing all the young jungles to not dare to take a breath, and all of them looked at this golden figure in awe. The guardian elder of the Heavenly Tao sect, the presiding officer of this holy ceremony. An old and majestic voice came out from within the golden light, instantly recalling in everyone's hearts. Everyone's eyes were filled with shock, and awe. Just a moment ago, the entire staircase to heaven suddenly disappeared, and the door to the Yuanying space directly appeared in front of the crowd, and then it was the guardian elder who appeared. The crowd didn't dare to take a breath, for fear of offending this incomparably powerful Heavenly Tao sect guardian elder. The 1-year deadline has passed. You losers only have 2 choices. The guardian elder's voice resounded once again. Everyone below listened attentively, and one didn't dare to raise their heads. The pressure from above their heads was simply too strong. Quit the sacred canon or stay in the Yuanying space for 3 years. These are your only 2 choices. You should have all known this before. Now choose. After the guardian elder finished speaking, he was in the void, indifferently looking at the crowd below. Everyone understood in their hearts that after the 1-year deadline, if they wanted to worship the Heavenly Tao sect again, they would only be able to stay in the Yuanying space for the full 3 years. And these 3 years would be dangerous for them. Their lives would be in danger at any time. Many people struggled and hesitated in their hearts. As the 1-year time came to an end, there was a great change in the Heavenly Tao demon sealing list. Those young jungles who had withdrawn were sent away from the Heavenly Tao sect one by one in a gloomy manner, as well as those young jungles who were struggling in the middle of the space of the nodal stage were also expelled one by one. Those young jungles who arrived at the heaven ascension stairs within a year were then faced with an important choice that concerned their entire lives. Some chose to withdraw. They saved their lives, but lost the chance to become disciples of the Heavenly Tao sect. Some chose to enter the Yuanying space. Some of them would die under the demonic beasts, and some would hold on until the period expired 3 years ago and become disciples of the Heavenly Tao sect. But no matter what, 1 year later, the Tiantao demon sealing rankings Jidan stage space closed. And aside from those young talents who died, there was no longer a single young talent left in it. All of the senior members of the Heavenly Tao sect who were paying attention to this session of the Heavenly Tao sect disciple acceptance ceremony had their gazes converged on the Yuanying stage space at this moment, which would be the final place for those young jungles to compete. In the scorching hot volcano ground, a purple silhouette slowly opened his eyes. Purple thunderbolts flashed in his eyes, and his powerful aura swept out, rolling up the scorching hot waves of fire around him. This was Kang Qian. 5 months after the closure of the Jidan stage space, Kang Qian's cultivation had finally broken through to the 9th layer of the Jidan stage, and at this moment, he was only 1 step away from the Yuanying stage. In fact, this step was only a matter of time. Compared to others, Kang Qian would be able to advance to the Yuanying stage as soon as his cultivation reached it, because he had already comprehended the intent long ago. As for the others, if they had not comprehended the intent, they would not be able to break through to the Yuanying stage, even if their cultivation had reached it. Kid, The 9th level of the Jidan stage is up. It's time for you to head to the demon locking tower. Even though it's only been 5 months, it's hard to guarantee that there won't be 100 people who have occupied the demon locking tower first, so you'll just be waiting to cry at that time. The Dan Emperor's laughter came from within his mind. Haha, your old man is overthinking. Wanting to head to the demon locking tower is not that simple. There are more Yuanying stage demonic beasts to run into along the way, the average person. Not to mention arriving at the demon locking tower. Being able to save their lives would be good.